yourself. Abruptly cut off. We're back, and if I take this down and cut it and re-upload it, but we had difficulties as soon as we got on my own platform, right? So I was banned this morning from the interview, well, not interview, but the rooftop number 105 that I did. I spoke about the C-19. I can say that here, and why, and I can say that here now, right? Why that is fake, to get you to take the vaccine. They definitely put something out here, and they amped it up too. Because what, you know, I mean, you bump your leg into the coffee table, all of a sudden, oh, you got COVID. You go in and you die. I just want to welcome in our sister Ambience, and I'm so rude.
Thank you, brother.
Because I'm so amped.
No. no. Express yourself. Express yourself. Get it out.
Yeah, exactly. Express yourself. Doom.
Right.
Telling my age. Yeah, for real. But it's good to vibe with you. I will be distributing this because there are not many people watching it right now, but I'll be placing this in strategic positions and doing some stuff on the site and other places. Right. So, yeah, we'll jump right into it because this title is very interesting that you made. Mm-hmm. And, you know, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of jacked up titles out there, but that's very poetic. It's a question. It brings involvement. It makes people think. Right. You know, you can't be a dummy and process that question. So we're going to have highly intellectual, as most of us are, unless we put substances in our brain or in our veins. But we even then we're still smart. Even then we're still smart.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
Even the lowest of the low as far as mentality. I'm not saying us or any of us are low, but how many of us have seen that shopping cart that the guy who does crack, I don't want to say crack, well, I can say crackhead, and that bad boy is piled up like 14 feet, and he's got all this metal on there, and it doesn't fall. He changed the tires on the shopping cart. He leans into it and even connects it to a bike. And this guy, I mean, that's like, I knew a guy like that. He had so much money, I had to take a loan from him. Yo, man, you got $10. But like we were saying earlier, they know who we are. They know who the warriors are. They know who the ones are who possess those spirits and who are destined not only on this level, but in subsequent levels, because even our mission is so big, we don't even realize it at this level. The sperm didn't know how big it was going to be when it hit the egg and, 9 months in the stomach and came out walking and can command such strength and power when it's destined. The other sperm fell to the side. Not that they were losers or quitters, but they just didn't have it. We're the ones who made it to this earth. And not only that, but we made it to the earth in the positions and spirits we have. So we're sperm again, in a sense, going not only for one egg, but our own mission, our entire mission. So we're going to win. We just can't be discouraged. So talk to me. Oh, wow. Talk to me. What was on your heart? And we'll roll. And I'll shut up a lot more.
Okay. Well, I mean, like that title, I'm hearing that we're in retrograde. And it just seemed like that's just the talk of the town. And I just my question is, does it matter, in the Black experience, if we're in retrograde or not, when we're constantly, taking L's left and right, day after day, week after week? It doesn't matter what time of the month, when the moon was in, whatever, it don't matter. We just always seem to be in a perpetual state of retrograde, And so I think about this whole, this thing called time, and the celestial bodies and alignments and what we're born under. And, I think about the word, when you look at that word time backwards, spelled backwards, it's emits, and so they say that when we're born, we're born under there are certain things being discharged. Basically the word emit has to do with something being produced, like a gas or radiation being produced or discharged at a given time, right? And so, but I just want to, it's going to be a lot of hypotheticals here. I can't tell you I'm sure about anything, but one thing is that we've been lied to. That's the one thing that I'm sure about, and that someone has to pay an answer for the lies, for all the misdirection, all the misleading, misguiding, what's really going on here. And when I think about even the movie, The Truman Show, just think about that name, True Man. Who is a true man here? And then the question becomes, is it a certain amount of us who represents being the true man in this experience that we have? Because I just always feel like I'm always out the loop. I always feel like others know something I don't know in this experience. You understand what I'm saying? And so, again, with that being said, they talk about karma. They talk about these alignments that we're born under. And then, so the question becomes, to me, in my experience, and I hear it seems like this seems to be a form of targeting that's geared toward specific sisters in particular, and so there were oracles that existed,
yes,
hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and those oracles were all Black women. These Black women, they would go and seek out these women to tell them what the future held. And it got so bad, because of their war, the warmongering that they were doing at that time, that they started to kidnap these various women and hold them captive, almost kind of like their own little crystal balls at any given time to have access to what the future held. But it just is no way possible that an oracle can actually deliver the truth of the future under that type of pressure, right? So, I'm sure there was some compromising, some lies being said because you're just trying to get free, so on and so forth. And so with that being said, those of us who are targeted, again, I look at my situation and I say, okay, this is something deeper than, something that happened to me, some political situation that took place. It's something far greater going on here, like the amount of energy that's being put into me, to the point where, brother, The Truman Show, it's times when I have a certain conversation, just being on these various lives with you, or, doing certain audios with you.
Yes.
And then I can go into my feed, and I know the AI, the AI has the ability to produce videos. The AI has the ability to produce a face that's not even in existence. And I know all this. But when you are tapped into people that you subscribe to and you've been listening to off and on for many years, and the synchronicities of what they're speaking of and what you just talked about, this has been going on with me for many, many years. And I know it's quite a few people who are targeted on here who can relate to the fact that, how is it that I can speak on something and then all of a sudden someone's whole show is dedicated to everything I just spoke on?
There you go.
Like, how is that happening time and time again? And brother, I'm just gonna take it. I'm taking it further and further, because I swear sometimes when I tap into people's lives, sometimes in particular, it's almost, I feel like they're aware that I'm watching and their behavior. So if I'm looking at them like, oh, you want some bullshit, I've had several situations take place where the person that's doing that live will go on a break at that given time. We're going to go on a break at that given time, as I'm sitting there looking at them like, okay, so what are we living in? What's really going on here? You think about, again, I mentioned to you how the city that I'm in, there's been so many Black men losing their lives ever since it was announced that the lizard bitch died.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is going on everywhere. So I don't know if they're using these type of situations in order to incite various things so they can feed, possibly, so they can feed on some shit. I don't know. It's all I know is I'm being lied to. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I'm being lied to in this whole situation. You know, I feel like even my various family members, you know, you know, it almost seems as though they were specifically sent to me to fuck with me.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Like there's like this person, I mean, in the closeness to the point we're down to the numbers in our alignments. And I'm like, how can this be so precise in how our alignments are? And then this person be such an opposition to me. What is that about? Like, what's really going on? What are we caught up in? Because I'm feeling more so like I'm caught up in a web than anything. I'm caught up in something that's unnatural. Like, you know, and I wonder even about these whole alignment things. You know, they say, you know, they want to focus on Egypt, but like I said before, all of Africa, there were empires all throughout Africa. Okay, but they focus on Egypt. You know, from what I've heard, I you know, once Egypt was taken over, as far as when when we resided over Egypt, it was more of a pure thing. But as we started to mix with the Greeks and so on and so forth, it started to literally just turn into kind of like a circus. It was kind of like Las Vegas, you know,
right,
in comparison to the rest of the country. That's where you went to play. That's where, you know what I'm saying? What went on in Egypt stayed in Egypt. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so, but the question becomes, you know, how they have designed religions, and so like even astrology itself is a religion, you know, and so the fact that they may have they have obtained a certain knowledge from Egypt. And they were able to take things and manipulate them. And I'm wondering, do they have some type of ability to cast people into certain alignments to create certain circumstances for them? You know, based on your opposition to them in some life. You know, this is some hypothetical shit here. You know, and so my thing is, you know, I mean, I don't know if you ever thought about that, brother. I don't know, but I do. These are the things I think about when I want to.
Right. It's crossed my mind. Maybe not as in depth, but why is it that we're not even there anymore? I know some of us are still there, especially in Egypt as an example. But why is it that where we are, they have to come and take it, make it theirs and degrade it, but take our powers and take our abilities on different levels and use it against us and use it for their hedonistic endeavors, making a mockery of us as our monuments still stand like we're the past. But we're living right now. We're here right now. There's still so many people that have the abilities, but don't know how to really, we got to be intuitive now. Back then they had it on the walls, inscribed on the walls and passed down verbally. So now we're walking around like a ship, like a boat without a paddle, like a vehicle with no GPS.
Right.
We're moving.
Right.
We're bumping into the exactly. Exactly. And they know who we are, and they're watching us who are waking up, that are getting it back intuitively, and like, you're not going to have that because you're going to spread it to the other ones.
But brother, it seems like we still can't find no damn answers. I look at people that you can consider to be scholars in our time, and as far as the melanin people, and it's like we cannot find an answer out of this bullshit. You know, it's like we can't agree. Everybody has all these various views. We're all over the fucking place.
Yep.
Like, why? What is it about us that we have to experience this? Why do we have to experience this? But it seems as though everyone else kind of gets away scot-free.
Right.
And who the hell is Scott? Scott got to be a white boy.
Well, yeah, he got to be. Well, if his last name was Free, he's definitely a white boy.
Because I feel like I'm being hit hard on, like, I mean, I know that because I'm always squinting my eyes in this situation, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right,
you know, so therefore that kind of occupies my mind, you know, so much. I don't have time to be in a victim mode per se, you know, where I'm,
It's a waste of time.
I don't have time for that because my scientific mind is trying to figure out what the hell I'm trying to decipher what's going on, what I'm seeing.
Right.
You know, and why is it that some people take this shit so seriously? And then with that being said, how do you share space? How do you occupy space with a person who takes this shit so seriously?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like having a conversation with a child. Mm-hmm. So if that person is always focusing on what you did wrong, how that made me feel, so on and so forth, and you're always looking at, okay, what's all this about? What's the big picture here? Why is this taking place? What am I supposed to be saying here? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like you're talking two different languages. It's two different languages taking place.
That's by design. That's by design.
you know? You know, and these people are they're wholeheartedly feeling what they're feeling. You know, and I don't want to come across cold, but it's something else going on here. And I know that because they're not experiencing. They may be experiencing it, and they may be aware that there is something going on. But because they're not experiencing it to the degree that I am, mm-hmm. where their loss isn't the same, then they're not going to. They don't have time to dedicate, you know, their minds to that type of thing, because then it'll be hard for them to function in the world that they're creating. You understand? The world that they're going along with, I should say. You know, and so, but for me, you know, I don't care. I've experienced this thing that's always occurring in my life and showing up in my life, you know, knock, just like, well, you know, how you got that strike today, you know, it's always there. It's always presenting itself. It doesn't matter. I've made six figures. I've been down and out, and it's still always there, you know? So therefore I've already made up my mind that I have no choice but to just always accept that it's there and to question what's going on. I don't have the luxury of saying, oh, forget about it. You know, no man coming into my life, no amount of money coming into my life is going to just make me be like, okay, well, you know, with this, I have these things now. So, you know, all that other stuff doesn't matter. That's not how it works. Because at the end of the day, I'm still concerned about ascension. What happens next beyond this?
That's right.
Okay. And I'm not, you know, if they're catching us in some type of loop of some sort, I'm trying to figure a fucking way out of this situation. Mm-hmm. You know, you hear, it's like this whole social media thing, the whole YouTube thing. It's like all these things have just made me more and more confused about what the hell is going on, because all these perspectives.
But that's the point. That's the point. You look, when you go to an all-you-can-eat buffet and you get a plate and you fill it up, you see all of the different types of foods that are there. Unless you take a half a teaspoon of each one, you're not going to eat everything there. You're going to run to what your favorites are, and you might try something new out just in case you come back and say, okay, I know this now. This is a favorite of mine also. So this is the point of it all. We're all over the place. We get emotional with some facts. Some have more facts, less emotion, more emotion, less facts. Some are very emotional and charismatic and don't need facts. So they go in that way and they influence the weaker people who are looking for the leader. Look, many of us have left the church, but we're still churchified because we're looking for the answer outside of ourselves. So the answer to me is that we're not going to find it on the outside of ourselves. We'll find certain things, certain elements, but the oppressor is not going to give you the answer. He's going to give you something else to keep you distracted, like we are. I'm not saying you or I. So what does that mean? He's not going to give it to us. He's throwing out all these distractions. So we need to go inside of ourselves and filter out every damn thing that comes our way. And if it doesn't match up with what we already have that we know that's tried and true, get rid of it and keep stepping, because that's what it is right now. They didn't expect so many things to come out as far as truth is concerned that we can learn from each other. So now we got to flood out more booty. We got to flood out and make more people gay. We got to talk about Asian hate, and there ain't no Asian hate. Yeah. Asian hate when it comes time for them to get and build up businesses in America, and they get the aid from America. They just made that up. That they're walking around like us in drag. But nobody talks about black hate, African hate, whatever you want to call it. So we're always going to be at the end of the line, accepted as far as what I'm not saying accept that they're going to always find a way to do that and come up with something from inside and get with the people who think like you and even me, vet me every month, vet me every week, make sure I'm up to par because something might come along and pull me off course. Any one of us. But get with the like-minded people and save yourselves. Yourself first. Like you said, we go on treating everybody else better than we do ourselves. And when it comes to us as a people, we fight against each other. So this us as a people business, hey, if you allow me to influence you and you think what I'm saying is right, cool. But I'm not running nobody down now. The house is burning and my ass ain't going to burn by sitting there, bro, wake up. And you done had 3 bottles of vodka, drunk, and got some transvestite saliva on your penis, falling asleep. No, I did it enough. I'm out of there myself. Why don't you call me, man? I got all these burns on me. You didn't listen. You involved in the wrong thing.
You know, when you use terms like transvestite, you telling your age.
Right, yeah. Nobody says that anymore. I know.
No, most people don't even know what the hell that is.
They know everything else, but they don't know that.
Yeah, brother.
Oh, yeah. I'm hitting the big 6-0 in April 8th. And I'm hitting it, too. I'm hitting it hard.
Right?
Look,
I know that's right.
I'm going to hit it so hard that 60's going to walk around bow-legged for the next 50 years. So you know what kind of hit I'm going to do with that big O in the 6? I'm going to get it.
Hey, brother. Hey, age ain't nothing but a number, literally. That's all it is, you know.
Just want to give a shout out to Hope Rice. She's listening. Hope Rice. The only Rice I fucks with. Yes, go ahead. Good sister.
That's Sister Rice. Hi, Sister Rice. I mean, Sister Hope. but yeah, so back to what you were saying about, you know, as far as the people, you know, like, I mean, that's what makes this whole experience so miserable. That's what keeps us in a constant state of retrograde, is that my people have lost their sense of who they are to the point where all we do is just constantly give each other, you know, problems, where we're always having some negative experience with each other, you know, to the point where even sometimes it's better for us to have a better experience with our oppressor. You know, you can't be around family. You try to create something with a family. You try to grow with the family. No cooperation. You know, they have all the reason in the world just not to cooperate. There's no faith. There's no any type of spirituality in it. Nothing. It's just like all gone. It's all just matter of fact. But ain't nobody focusing on the fact that we've been placed in a situation that created who we are, this narrative that we're living right now. But we want to forgive the oppressor, you know. And I think about, you know, these powers that shouldn't be, and how they look at people like, you know, you and I, you know, those who hold on and stand on our square. You know, you think about all those great quote unquote civil rights leaders from back in the day, those various people that they would have on different platforms, you know. And it's like, you know, they've heard it all. They've heard every type of emotional, poetic expression of the pain of the Black man and the Black woman's plight. They've heard it all, you know. And so what are they listening for now? That's the question, because we know they're listening, you know. But then me personally, I feel as though I'm just being used in this whole situation, you know, and I don't want to feel useless. And no, that's not something that's hard. That's something that's hard for me to live with, to feel like I'm not giving anything,
right,
you know, something on a solidify. It's all I'm doing is just kind of going in circles, giving my energy to something that I don't even want to give my energy to, you know. But I mean, what can I do in this situation in order to, I don't know, feel like I'm truly giving of myself? You know, well, I mean, I'm on this platform, but I want to be able to do some things within my community. But I know that I'm going to be met with all type of, especially now in an election year, you know, I'm going to be met with so much opposition because, you know, people want to shut the truth down, especially during an election year. So I don't know, what can I do?
Well, see, this is how I see it. Let them worry about what we're going to do. See, the anticipation of what they're going to do is what they want. They want us to think that way. Like a boxer. I'm not a boxer, but I dipped and dabbed in it. And I think like that, but I'm a fighter. So I'm better than a boxer because I fight on all levels, right? So in the sight game, first of all, if you're trained and you're ready, you're ready. A lot of people put on their game face when they walk down the ring before the fight and they get knocked out in the first few seconds because they didn't train and they weren't really in a fighting mode. Keep yourself and spend time, whether you want to call it meditation, with just time to yourself, keeping yourself in fighting mode, doing what it is to sharpen your sword in your tranquility. And when it's time for the battle, you will be all right. If you train right, live right, do what you have to do right, they have to worry about you. The time you spend concerning yourself with what am I going to do? Because see, you have a path. See, and your path will open up more. Should I be waiting for the battle or should I be starting the battle, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, I said, should I be waiting for the battle or should I be starting the battle? That's the question you know what I'm saying? Because maybe the battle will never come if I just sit and just constantly prepare. No, but see, we're already in the battle. We're already in the battle. It is different. The soldiers sleep because soldiers have other soldiers to watch them. Okay, I'll be up on top of the mountain looking over the horizon. You get your rest, bro. And you do that for me. We were born into the battle. We just see it more now for what it is because our view and our sight and you know, we're more aware because we've grown. And because of the battle, we've grown. Those who don't embrace the battle don't grow and they're not a threat. So this is why the opposition never messes with them. You on a corner getting drunk as a man doing nothing, pissed up pants, sitting on that old beat up piece of couch that somebody put next to the liquor store. You out there doing something you're not supposed to be doing. Look, every time is artificial it's real on this level, but as far as the universe is concerned, it's fake, right? And on a spiritual level, it's fake. We are time. We're the ones that make the time. Look, if you say on a man-made level, the party gonna start at 10 o'clock until past the sun comes up, and nobody shows up at 10 o'clock, that means the time the party starts when we get there. So if we get there 10:45, that's the time. We are the time. The party can't start without us. The battle can't go on without us. And when you're ready for it, if you've been doing what you have to do right, you're ready for it. You already have the gifts. You already have the tools. Keep your tools sharpened. Keep your mind sharp. Be aware as you are in this world, this wicked world, the way it is, the man-made world. Be aware of that. When you're aware of it that way, when anything comes by you, you got it. Because you're always in that mindset. Look, you sent me a message and you said, hey, I'll rather do something tonight and I had already got the message that YouTube banned me for a week for the video I did this morning that's here on the site. So it wasn't going to stop nothing from happening. And it was the perfect timing. And guess what? I lived this. I prepared for this time when they want to ban me for a week, but I can still go live and make shows and do everything on my own platform, which is our platform, Hope Rice platform, everybody platform. We get down here. This is a safe house you can come to and get a meal and get a good sleep while the sentinels that are on our side watch over us. So I was ready for it. If I didn't sharpen my sword after getting banned numerous times, I wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be here. And because of your experiences and your journey, and you're ready to share what's in your heart and in your mind, both of us combined and whoever else may be combined with us listening to this, we're getting it. See, we're going to see, they have to come at us because we have the power. Look, we're supposed to be broke. We're supposed to be ignorant. We're supposed to be downtrodden. We're supposed to be the lowest of the low, but they watch us so hard because they know that we have the weaponry to defeat them coming at us, but they don't want us to know where that piece is. You could be in the house and you don't know where your little bang bang is, your little burner, you're in trouble when they come into your door. But if you know where it is, you got them. And they didn't know, they don't know you got it, and you don't know you got it, they got you. But if you know you got it, on a spiritual level, mental and physical, you're ready for the battle. Look for the battle. Suddenly look for when they come for you. And you use the element of surprise by being ready. And speed kills in whatever situation. You see, so when you shock them, like if somebody was to come into this apartment to try to get me, they're going to be very shocked. But they expect me to be shocked and look imposing and have whatever. Let them come. I'll jump about my sleep. I don't care if it's an army. I'm going to have them running out of here. Because they won't expect. Yeah, go ahead, sister.
Well, I mean, I know that, people talk about patience, but I just feel like my patience is running thin, in the sense of this experience that we're having, my thing is, are we stuck somewhere where this is just going to be? This is meant to be. You hear people say that we're in hell right now. Okay. And so the thing is, and then you hear other people say that, okay, their time is up. And so our time is here. And then my question becomes, how do we get to the point where their culture is not the norm? Their way of being is not the norm. All the battles, this constant battle. I'm just fed up with the battle, and so my thing is, can we just get this battle, get down to it? I'm not saying in any physical sense. I mean, I'm sure, I can't pick and choose on how things are supposed to take place. It may be some actual battles taking places, but can we get to it? Because this is no way to live. This is no way to be, where I'm always battling with folks. I'm always, being misunderstood, and it's like always being the voice of reason. It's like everyone else has lost their damn minds. It's just like, again, I always talk about how it's boring. It's really beyond boring. I don't think that's an understatement as far as what we're experiencing right here. You get up, every morning, and you play around all day, and then you go to sleep at night. I just feel like this is, I don't know. I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else. And I'm not, or something. I can't express it like I really want to at this moment.
I understand exactly what you mean. To me, that means you're ready for the battle. And that's the art of war. That's the art of war. When you kind of expect it to come right now, they're not there. Look, it's just like the technique is just like a grandmother or a mother or whoever raised you. Could be a father, but usually it's the female energy. You do something bad as a kid, you do something wrong. You have an ass whipping coming for you. So now she knows already. She got the call from school that you messed up. So now all of a sudden, you smiling, but you watching her, and she's smiling back with you. She's feeding you, treating you nice. Now, the more she treats you nice, the more you get paranoid. I know I got it coming, but when is it going to come? So now she's reading in the living room, watching TV. She gets up and walks past you, and you tense. She ain't got no belt in her hand, right? Now you're laying in the bed and say, looks like I got away with it. Now you hear her walking up the steps. Every little creak in the step, and she walks past the door. You're like, oh my God, I know this is coming. I know she got the call. Back then we didn't have caller ID, but let's throw that in there. The caller ID from the school came. As soon as you doze off and fall asleep, here it come. You don't even hear her coming. Whap across that ass. How she pulled my pants down to get the belt on the ass. Whap! And now you fight. See, but that's the art of it. Just be ready. Don't fear it. Now, see, you're not going to hit your mama or your grandmama back, but this is the enemy coming for you. And you're not going to wait for them, but you don't know where they are. You don't know when they're going to attack. You be ready. As soon as they wad up before the dap come, you wad up them back harder and move in a cool fashion, knowing that it is coming, but don't fry your brains thinking about what. And in every little way to give yourself a little satisfaction, you throw a little something in their plans. You throw a little something, you go more ninja-like. They're watching us as we speak. As soon as I hit the button to go live, the internet conked out on me. Lucky this program is in the cloud, and when people listen to it again, they'll just hear the music a little longer. They on us. They banned me this morning from YouTube for a week because of what I said. I didn't say COVID-19. I said C-19. See, so
I'm saying I just feel like that was a form of them just trying to push you. Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, nigga? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's what I.
Well, I'm gonna show them what this nigga gonna do. We live right now. You know what I mean? And we're gonna create all week. And I'm gonna be out in the street. I'm gonna go harder. And I already got a plan for them too. I got a plan for them. Little old me. I'm gonna tell you how it is.
Yeah, I just feel like well, you know, being that we're in this, you know, people keep talking about manifestation and, you know, so, you know, you think this and so on and so forth. You know, again, our experience that we're having here in our community just progressively just gets worse. Mm-hmm. Our people become more and more delusional. Our people become more and more troubled in their ways, you know, and so, you know, is this manifestation stuff real? Is this retrograde stuff real? You know, what is really going on here?
Yeah, because a lot of people like to hear themselves talk, and it sounds good and it gives us hope. You know, if some person came around that you knew and said, you know what, take off for work tomorrow. I got $2 million of deposit in your bank account. And I'm also going to take you shopping. I'm also going to take you to a nice restaurant. And I have some plane tickets here that we're going to go to a different country and then go to a cruise. And then we're going to leave off the cruise and get on land. And there's a big mansion waiting for you. That would get anybody open, especially if you trust the person. The problem is we trust the wrong people. And they like to hear themselves talk. And we feast on something like on that episode of Star Trek where the food looked good, but it had no taste and it had no nutrition. See what I mean?
Mm.
So
yeah, that's what we're living in right now.
Exactly. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And those of us who are not living illusionary, who could actually touch each other, even though I'm way over in Africa and you're back in America, we can still touch each other, stimulate, and they don't want too many of us like this to communicate. So this is why they would do what they do to us on their platforms. That's why you have to have yours. But I'll tell you this much, the UN is starting to do something, United Nations, which ain't no nations here united. They're going after websites that other people deem to be terroristic. So they can say that about me, but what have I done? When they're the ones that are the well-known terrorists all over the world. So they don't like independent platforms like this. And I still a step ahead of them anyway with that. I'm working on something else now. So it's a cat and mouse game. The mouse might be right there and you don't know it. Maybe he's not, but you can't be afraid. I'm not saying you're afraid. But you can't be apprehensive to go to the corner because you have to win. You're going to catch scars. Yeah. You're going to get stabbed up a little bit.
I'm not. That's the thing, though. I'm not afraid of that.
Right, no,
you know,
I know
and
that.
I just.
I'm saying that for listeners.
Feel like
you know what I mean?
We're letting these patients in the insane asylum run us. We're letting these children run us. We're letting these children run us into the ground. You know, take, like you just said, food with no taste. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's the best way to describe this experience that we're having. You know, and I'm a type of person that, you know, my sensations, you know what I'm saying, or I'm very, my sensations are very in tune. You know, that's not something I've forgotten. You know, and I'm not over the top with it either. That's the
disregard that. That was me. I opened up another screen that had a little echo. That was me.
You know.
Yeah.
And so, and my thing is, I'm tired. I'm just ready to do that. Whatever fire I gotta create is what I'm saying. Whatever fire I gotta create right now, I'm getting to that point because there is something that is below me spiritually, mentally, on all the levels that matter, that is trying to force itself on me and try to force me into a way of living that is life at all. And I see how more and more people, it's like you look at your family, right? You look at those who that you know, your neighbors and all that. And then once people, what I notice is once people start to get to a point in their life when they start to live in a more conformed fashion, the more in this world, right, more and more people turn away from you, especially when you represent the truth. Yes. But when they're going through something, they want to cling on to you. When they're battling with something, when that thing is coming for them, they want to cling to you. So it's just like, what is going on here that so many people are, it's just like this insanity, this delusion that I'm being forced to get up and live every day. You deal with your sister, she don't want to act right, her spirit towards you. With your brother, he don't want to act right. He sees you as a piece of meat. I'm just talking about brothers and sisters out community. Right, right. But also in your even in your own personal family, you got that same shit going on. And so how is it that all these things that used to be kind of a secret and was something that happened to other people now? I mean, this shit is everywhere. And living life, everyone is just numb. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, no one wants to come to you directly about anything. People want to insinuate, and no one is on the up and up. It's just like, what the fuck is this? How did we let these motherfuckers? It's nothing slick about that. That's just pure stupidity. There's no way a motherfucker can come in and trick me out of taking an empty glass for a glass full.
Yeah.
Exchanging that shit. And I'm just ready to start a fire. Like, I mean, on a not a literal fire, but on a level that will incite people to wake up out of this stupor that they're in. Because all on the strength that all we have is each other. And so you're telling me this is all I have to experience with you? Is this battle all the time? I don't know who I'm dealing with. I'm having this conversation that seems like it's authentic, but at the end of the day, when I walk out the door, that conversation wasn't about shit. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I gotta walk away from shit. People, they want to talk about you as soon as you leave. People want to talk that shit in your face and then, go home. Or they want to take on your persona and take it elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this. What the hell is this bullshit that we just constantly keep all these knockoffs. This LGBT. These men that want to be knockoffs. You know what I'm saying? and motherfuckers want to tell me that a man being a woman is the real deal. This is the real deal when it's a knockoff, and then tell. They go create laws to come up against me because I call that knockoff what it fucking is. So it's just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. But see, you know what it is? I know exactly how you feel. I got all these analogies and stuff. You're like that person who did a favor. You're on your way somewhere to your destination, but you don't have really a time that you have to be at your destination, but they said, hey, listen, I'm in the clinch right now. Could you take me to this other destination? And it's really kind of out of your way and a bit too far, but they've looked out for you a little bit in the past, but you can't really say no. Now you go and they say, listen, could you just wait 5 minutes for me? You already kind of pissed in a friendly way, like, okay, you got me all the way out here. But 20 minutes go by, 30 minutes go by, an hour goes by. At what point, it's frustrating to wait. And in this situation with something so real that you see so real, it's very frustrating to wait. You see what I mean? Because now you're ready, you see it. And you see other people who are not really with it, and they talk the talk when they want to talk the talk when they need you. But when it comes time to unify, which I'm not looking for that no more. I'm unifying myself. I know I got you. I know I got Hope Rice. I know I got Tiny. I know I got a whole slew. And look at that. On the list is more women than men. Men have punked out. Men just want the hedonistic. Man, I want to use somewhere to get my dick so. Look, you got to earn that, man. It's something in a woman that you got to earn that, whether you're with her or she sees what you're doing. You see what I mean? And I say it all the time. Stop looking at our sisters that way. Protect them, feed them, nourish them. They are also warriors. They're not there to sit down and do nothing, but we all have different capabilities. Let me tell you something. These dudes out here, and I'm going to be very real, they just look, a lot of them are looking for pleasure, talking the good word, and looking for a head every day, man. I get my dick so, but let me tell you something. If you're the real thing and we in the battle, you ain't got to worry about that. Your sister gonna take care of you when she knows that you're the real thing, regardless. And it's not just about that, right? So everything falls into place as a man when you do the right thing. It's just that there's not enough men out here who are real, and you as a sister, you're not the weaker vessel. It may be for some sisters where they may not be big and buff and strong that way, but you have a way of being able to take pain and think through it. And a lot of our sisters are strong and not punks either. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but you feeling it. You feeling the lack of that unity that we're supposed to have. And it's like you're on your own.
Humanity.
You know? I know.
I'm feeling a lack of unity. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even, a man, I don't even want nothing to do with no man. They might as well hang that, you know? I mean, of course, you get looks every day, but it's like, no way in hell. If I can't have a just relationship just in passing with a person, you know, you go somewhere and, you know, people just have bad attitudes. You make a phone call, people have bad attitudes, people lie to you. I mean, this is the norm. And so do you actually think I want to have some type of up close and personal connection with somebody right now and all this bullshit? Hell no. I've tried and it's the same shit. Just it's the bullshit that you experience when you're out and about dealing with people, when you're handling business, when you're dealing with your family. It's just triple that amount when you're dealing with one-on-one. So that right there, I just eliminated that out of my life altogether, you know. But and it shouldn't be that way, you know what I'm saying? But you know, this is the world we live in. You can have all of the love, and I know that it's because our buttons are being pushed and have been pushed that led us to this point, you know. But it's like you invest so much of your time into a loved one, or you invest so much of your time into someone that, you know, your friend, so on and so forth, and then you turn around and get kicked in your ass time and time again, you know. And what is the common thread here? Right. What is the common denominator here? You know, and really it boils down. Yeah, you know, and it's this capitalistic spirit that exists where everybody is just a dog-eat-dog world. You know, it's all about, you know, me accomplishing and getting this. And that shit don't even matter when it's all said. It don't even matter. You know, so I, you know, it's just, like I say, I'm just ready to, I don't know what, but I'm about ready to get out. If nothing, just make thought-provoking signs just to walk around with. Just thought-provoking signs to incite things in people, you know, because shit, these motherfuckers mad at me anyway. They taking me through some shit any motherfucking way. So I might as well, you know, and so I gotta do something. I gotta do something.
Oh, we got the same wavelengths, because I'm gonna do some serious graffiti out here on some of these walls, and it's going to be hardcore.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to hurt this motherfucker's feelings through words right now. I really am. You know, I want to joke people out of their dystopia that they're in. You know what I'm saying? I'm just all this. I don't know. I don't know what's what anymore. You know, we Anunnaki, we this, we that, we this, we that, we in retrograde, we in, you understand what I'm saying? It's always something. It's always something, and we never get
Exactly.
And so people running around,
running around doing rituals and killing animals, and I'm still here, walking around here, buck strong. People out here, they're trying to meet right out here in the crowd. Dumbasses. Right. You're wasting your money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, you know, and I was looking at something, you know, about Ghana, and you know, basically how they have clowns over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like everything is getting watered down. You know, and everything is getting watered down in spite of us. It's like we're carrying the load for the whole world. We're literally the scapegoat for everything that's taking place in this experience that we're having. And I know that we are great people. Why are we accepting this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? I know that my presence, I can go into a situation and I can change the whole energy in a place. You know, where everybody bubbly and talking and so on and so forth. And you keep telling me stuff about karma and manifestation and all this bull, and I'm not seeing that constantly. I'm not seeing a growth in that area. I'm seeing the total opposite. You know, I see the progression going towards a negative. The more and more gay people I see, the worse the world gets. And I'm just keeping it real. The more and more, I mean, because it seemed like maybe about 2 years ago, I woke up and it was just like gay people everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, shit, they say they gay. Well, shit, gay mean happy. These motherfuckers ain't happy. You know, but you tell me that these motherfuckers happy. You know, you trying to trick me out of happiness. You know, and literally, and these young gay folks. You know, you go and they putting them in all these positions and all these various corporations to take you through something, make your life miserable. But these motherfuckers is gay. Ain't nothing happy about these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers be short with you. They be rude. You know what I'm saying? They got all these like stereotypical views of whoever they dealing with. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gotta be held accountable to shit. And it's like, I swear, the more and more I see them, the worse and worse our community get.
Say it.
Our experience get. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
That's right.
You know, I don't.
You're right. What you just said was right. I never saw it that way. I felt it that way, but I never. It's like seeing something in your peripherals, but you turn my head. The more you see them, the worse the world gets. You're right.
Yeah. The more and more they come out, the worse and worse the world gets.
Because it's being thrown out of balance.
How is that? Well, right. Why is the more they come out, the more humanity dies? I mean, come on now. Obviously, they represent death. Because that's all they fucking bringing.
Look, like I always say, I'm going to say it raw. Ain't no life up in no man's asshole. But they're going to try to put ovaries up there too. But ain't no life out there. ain't no life in no man's asshole.
Yeah. This little experience that we're having, you know, I can't even wrap my thoughts around, you know, all the toying and playing with the experimenting they're doing, all the perversion that's even adding to the type of experiments that they're doing. Like, man, it's just like, is this it? This motherfucking Caucasian man and all his fucking just sickness and impediments, and we gotta live this. We gotta make this the norm for us. We have to make insecurity the norm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta make the lack of never healing the norm. Like, we all gotta just be walking around this motherfucker crazy. Like, don't nobody gotta heal from shit. Like, because, you know, they live in a world where they all about, you know, treating the symptom. You know what I'm saying? And so when you think about that, you know, you can think about that physically, but you gotta also think about that mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't there's no healing taking place. Everything is about, you have to accept a motherfucker that's off balance. You gotta accept it. You know, like they just want to create a whole world of misfits. Ain't nothing wrong with being a misfit, but when you destroying humanity and you destroying self, what's the use?
It's just somebody else's delight.
Somebody getting off on this shit somewhere.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying about the experiment, the experimenting. Let's see. You know, this, the wicked always sitting somewhere like that damn Jeff Bezos got the nerve to have a comment about what the African sister said about the lizard bitch, the lizard bitch, and ain't nothing about you humane.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you've done, you do for selfish reasons. You don't give a fuck about all this damn shit that has to be produced so you can sell. That's just piling up every motherfucking where. That's making people feel worse and worse about life. And you got the nerves to act like you some fucking moral compass. Dude, like really, you know what I'm saying? And people are looking up. This is what people look up to. Like everything is just so backwards and upside down. You know, again, people, well, you know, speak your words and speak things into existence and so on and so forth. Man, come on now. You telling me that a whole group of people that share my melanin, that's the only way we've been thinking? You know, you got towns, successful towns of black folks that was doing the damn thing. You think they was sitting there thinking about them white folks burning their shit down? Manifestation. We just gotta call, we gotta call a spade a spade.
That's right.
And it's this culture that's been forced on us. They want to play mind games and send people in to make it seem like, oh, all you have to do is just think this way and that'll happen. Like, come on now. Like,
hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
I talk to the Lord every single day, and it lets me know we gonna have the victory. Yeah, you've been generation after generation. What victory is that?
All that man-made, made-up shit that people cling on to because of their own fucking insecurities. You know, not understanding any type of history behind religion and the government. You know what I'm saying? Like that damn a lizard bitch and who she represented in the church. You understand what I'm saying? Like this motherfucker had the nerve to be affiliated to a church. Well, wait a minute. You telling me that I thought a church was about this and that. When folks go to church and they know the preacher molesting the children, they know sister such and such sleeping with everybody's husband, and everybody want to be hush hush. You know, don't nobody want to heal. Don't nobody want to, just now this shit done bled out into society. You know, you fucking all the little boys, and now that shit done bled out into society. This asshole done bled out into society. And so now we gotta, if I mislabel a motherfucker, I can get a charge put on me. These motherfuckers can walk around all day talking about they a woman, but if I say I'm a white woman, or if I'm a white man, I'm crazy.
For real.
You know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like make it make sense. This is all, again, this is all about that crazy ass motherfucking white man. You know, he's so jealous of the woman, he's jealous of the melanated man and woman, and it's just like he wants to take everybody's place. He's good at being everybody else. He's better than at being them than they are. He's so better at being a woman. He's better at being black. He can dance better than us. He got more soul. You know.
And we applaud that too. And we applaud that.
Yeah, and the shit comes through their whole AI system. Their whole AI system is designed to push their bullshit, and they ain't got to be nowhere around. You know, like if I'm listening to Pandora, right, and I'm jamming, and I'm listening to Luther. I'm listening to all our shit. I got on 80s R&B. Okay, them motherfuckers gonna start playing some KC and the Sunshine Band. They gonna start playing some damn Hall and Oates. They gonna start playing some. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they be like, "Well, don't forget about us. What about us? They always in your face, always forcing themselves on you. I mean, these motherfucking miserable ass bastards. They want to make everybody else miserable. You know what I'm saying? We was too sensual. We was too in tune with each other as black men and black women. What they had to do there, they had to come in and disturb that. These motherfuckers, they can't stand black folks, but they love fucking a nigga.
Yep.
Real shit. But they can't keep us. Look, I was working out at the park yesterday, and it was a bunch of old people over here at this park, white folks. You know what I'm saying? They getting ready to play tennis, take tennis lessons and shit. Man, this old man, you know his dick ain't no damn good. It probably wasn't no good ever. He's trying to position himself to see me as much as he can. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he don't care that I keep moving by the tree to avoid him seeing me. He just forcing himself on me. So I can imagine what he has done to somebody's child, his own child. I'm trying to stay healthy and stay in shape, and this motherfucker gawking. You understand? I'm talking to two old white bitches at the same time. They act like they don't see shit, just like these bitches do. Act like they don't see shit, these violators do.
They
ain't trying to check him. They turn their heads. And then I go to the bathroom and one of them old bitches come in behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the problem. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like this madness, these sick ass motherfuckers is making the rules in our world. And niggas so fucked up you can't see straight. You can't see these motherfuckers for who they are. You that crazy? You that traumatized that you can't see these motherfuckers for who they are? You can't. You see a white person driving something nice. You hear Jeff Bezos or so, and all of a sudden, ooh, but you ain't looking at this madness this motherfucker he creates in this world. This nigga done had a rocket built shaped like a dick. You understand? Because that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? It's about who got the biggest dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
But we know it ain't y'all. We know it ain't y'all, but y'all live the illusion that y'all are even in the competition. And y'all not even in the competition. So what y'all do is y'all create a whole world to eliminate y'all competition. And everybody keep going for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even dance around black women without black women being uncomfortable. Where do black women get uncomfortable with it? I was looking at some African sisters. They was at a wedding. They brought 3 African sisters on stage, and they was wanted to see who the best dancer was. But you know, when all 3 of them sisters got to dance, and you couldn't judge, you couldn't pick a best dancer out of that because all of them was in tune with themselves. It ain't no best dancer. They all on point. But you look at our sisters here and how they emulate white women, and they shrink. They shrink in the presence of greatness. Bitch, you is a great thing. What are you talking about? Why is it that I can come along and make you feel so uncomfortable because I'm dancing? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are we giving everything? We just give it. And then they want to show these white bitches doing, Afro beats, and they doing all these Afro dances. And I'm talking about big fat white bitches. Getting it.
I know. They think they're getting it.
No, they getting it. These motherfuckers done put in that work. You understand what I'm saying? They literally getting it. And you got black women who can't bust it. They can't do nothing but twerk. It's just what I'm saying. It's just like, wait a minute. I know one thing is going on, but something else I'm being shown something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? I all these illusions that keep being forced on me. You know what I'm saying? This white man can't keep his hands and eyes, off of me, and he can't keep his motherfucking thoughts to himself, and all this type of shit. And nigga, I ain't even on you. You ain't even. I wouldn't give you the time of day.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like everything is so ooh, I can't hold no real conversation with a sister out here because they always, they always concerned about who looking and who can hear, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we got sisters that stand on a square, but that shit is like rare. That shit is rare. You don't
Very
know
rare.
what you getting no more, who you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just lap dog at the lap dog at the lap dog. You know, and it's just, I don't know. So again, does retrograde really matter?
Right.
Does it really matter? Because before I came into retrograde, I was already going into a homeless situation before they said retrograde is coming upon us. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this manifestation shit they say supposed to, this karma shit that they say supposed to exist. Who is doing all this lying to us?
Exactly.
Who? Talk stuff and talk it into existence. Talk it into existence.
Boy, I'd be a mighty person if all the talking I did in this life manifest. I know I got to get out there and make it happen in my mind,
right.
and put my hands on something to make it happen.
Right. Like we have to learn how to stand on our square. We're so just, oh my goodness. All these games being played, all these emotional things that people are just running with. Don't nobody want to see the big picture. People don't want to accept, the cycle of life. People come and they go, and you know what I'm saying? People just want to get caught up in money and cars and, relationships that don't mean shit. Just, did you see the story with the sister who ran over the boyfriend in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Maybe I did, but I didn't. I see so many things. But hit me on
like shit, shit like that. Like, why is all these strange things taking place? People hitting folks and killing people with their vehicles, and it's just like all this. How is it that we're supposed to be more advanced than ever? Let them tell it. How has the advancement caused so much disappointment, so much rage? Like, what? It's like the more we deal with each other on some artificial level, the worse things just get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that artificial shit. You know what I'm saying? That's that shit that them white folks relate to. They relate to that artificial shit because they ain't shit without it. Like, everything that makes them who they are is predicated upon some artificial shit. And so, like, even when you look at the monetary system, it's not even based on no gold and no silver. So everything about them is fake and phony. And I'm just waiting for this house of cards to like truly fall. And what can I do to set they shit ablaze? I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not sorry like that, but I mean, that's just how I feel. Like, that's just how I feel. Like, you can't get no good dig out here. You can't get no. I remember it was a point in time. I'm just saying, you can't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and then you got men who expect more of you on that level than they're willing to give you outside of the bedroom. Because so many chicks give everything to a motherfucker that they just met.
Oh, God, tell me about it.
You know what I'm saying? You letting a man enter you on all levels and you just met this nigga. I hear about some relationships where niggas, all they doing is fucking a woman in the ass.
What's that all about? I mean, you know what it's about, but
where do they do that at?
Right.
Like what is going on here?
Yeah. That's the home. That's the homo preparedness program.
Well, the homo preparedness program.
It's real.
Well, that's what the last is about.
Mm-hmm.
The whole over the top, the weed. That's what all that's about. So you can to blur the lines.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, and I sit and I look at these, these brothers in particular that be, transgender and all that type of stuff, and it's just like they be so over the top with their femininity because it's that need to showcase I can do it better than the real thing, but you still a knockoff though.
Exactly.
You're a knockoff. Any which way it goes, you're not the real deal. I don't care what laws they put in place. You are not the real deal. You want to be the real deal. And so everything that's worth a damn, that has substance, they seek and they have destroyed. They seek to destroy or they have destroyed it. And I think about many targeted individuals. I'm sure many of us are authentic type people. You know what I'm saying? We move differently. We move in an individualized type of way that shows how humane we are.
And they can spot it. They can spot it. Those who don't have it, they can spot it a mile away.
Yeah. And so, and they seek to destroy any evidence of basically God's individuality. I'm like, it's supposed to be over 8 billion people on the planet. That's a lot of different personalities. And literally, when man and woman come together, they literally create a whole different personality. It may be similar in some degrees. Even when you're a twin, you may have some similarities, but there's a lot in you that's different, that sets you aside from others. But we're living in a world where they want to make everybody as boring as they are. I mean, as rigid as they are. Because you have people who, they want to use us as a resource. They want the big lips. They want the dark skin tone. They want the big butt. They want the swag. They want all these things, and then they get it. And because they don't have the soul and the essence, they're still questing for something. And that doesn't, after so long, that just makes a person numb. It makes them numb. You know what I'm saying? It's just like how, the black man, he don't want the black woman. The black woman is the black woman that then he go and get him a white woman. Then he find out that it ain't her, it's him. The next thing that all he can do is be with a man. That's gonna be his next step. So it's like all this disappointment, this constant disappointment, driving people to do all kind of shit that's inhumane, that only leads to death. And that's where we're at in this world. It's just like we're just headed towards a dark place. Even when it's light outside, it seems like it's still dark. You go and you do. Yeah, you go and you deal with people, and it's our experiences with each other that makes me see it that way. Because sometimes you go and deal with people, and it's like you're dealing with an empty shell. You're dealing with an empty shell. It's like you don't really have any real authentic connection with your people. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, again, maybe the true men it may be those of us who are targeted. Maybe we are the true men, and everybody else is just like Agent Smiths of some sort, or some type of, what is the word? Like some type of bot. Because sometimes I be feeling like that. I be feeling like that within my own family. I be like, is this motherfucker real? Like, you know what I'm saying?
A pre-programmed
like,
bot to bring you misery with every sense of contact.
Yeah, like, I mean, right, that's it. It seems like it's this game of, I'll come into your life and I'll make it seem like I'm bringing something good into your life. And then when you're flying high, I'm just going to drop you.
And then after I drop you, I'm going to charm you up to make you have some hope and belief that it's going to be back there again. Then I'm going to drop your ass harder. And then I'm going to work on you. You're going to give up, but you're going to be fiending for it one day. And say, well, that was 3 years ago. Let me get this. Nah. Once you drop me like that, even if it's a little bit, that's a wrap. Because the world is full of those bots. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, everywhere.
And they're placed in every position. You go to a job, there are bots there. Even in your family, there are bots there. And they activate new. Somebody was cool with you for a longer time, they become a bot. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, you know? And so, man, like, all these artificial constructs and hybrids, and I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what this experience is. Like, all I know is, again, I just been lied to. That's what I know for sure, is that somebody lied to me about something and told me some shit. Actually, I had the experience. It wasn't even telling. You know, I've had the experience of what it seemed to be, you know, being able to have real authentic connections, you know, with others, you know, including your family and all that type of stuff, you know, years and years ago. You know, used to be able to have that granddaughter and grandmother experience in the kitchen. You know
holding your grandmama's hair, being at the cookout and everybody loving each other, meeting cousins you never saw before. You know what I mean? All the cars parked outside. People just, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Y'all don't need no hotels. We gonna bunk out right here in the living room and all the bedrooms, 2, 3 in the bed. Get up, eat when you want. Let's go take a ride. Just fun. Get a big garbage can and put all the sugar in there with some Kool-Aid and mix it up. Just keep it covered. Yeah. Money, no problem. You short? Oh, they got your cousin right there. He got money. How much it cost? $256 here. Take these five bills. Keep the change, baby. All love. The cookout. That ain't happening no more. Only time we see it is in the commercials on TV when they want to sell us something.
Well, I mean, I know people that still have.
Yeah, they still got. Yeah, there's some. But the majority, it just be all over the place.
But they don't. But they're nothing like they used to be. Remember when it wasn't an option to bring some food from somewhere else? Everybody cooked.
Exactly. And it was good too.
We would go. Yeah, we would all meet over to Aunt Annie's house. You know what I'm saying? Everybody cooking, everybody doing something, and now motherfuckers don't even look. They ain't bringing nothing. They coming empty-handed,
and they come and get all the food. What happened when you were a little kid and just walked down the block, and strangers on 2 blocks, because you know everybody on your block, but you're 3 blocks over, you're hanging around, just they playing music, and somebody go on, baby, go on back there and get a plate. And you're sitting up there playing and like you family. And what happened to that? I know those times. Yeah. That's why I'm so mad at today.
I know. Today, that's what you're right. Because that's what a lot of these young people can't relate to, because they can't miss what they ain't never had. They can't. You can tell them motherfuckers anything. You can tell them anything, and that's what they're doing. You know, but like you have these situations like with this lady just dying last Thursday, where it's forcing the conversation to come out so the young people know what the hell is going on. But see, they trying to figure out, well, why everybody got something to say about her? What she do? They don't even they're not even taking that into consideration. That actually starts that's a segue into awakening these younger people about what the hell done took place, you know? And so, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to, because love, when you haven't been loved, it's hard to love. It's hard to love when you ain't never been loved. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't used to your grandmother's hugs, if you're not used to, your aunt talking to you, if you're not used to, your neighbor, inviting you to eat and all that type of stuff, then you don't have no choice but to be a cold bastard.
Exactly. Listen, if you ain't never been there, you don't know how to go there. All right.
That's right.
See. If I've never been there, I need the map. If I've been there already, I can tell you how to get there. That's the way it is. And so while we we had belly laughs, we had laughs that hurt. We fall down on the floor and laugh again. Right. And see the next person looking like the energy. These kids are LOLing.
Right. They offended. They offended by a joke that another person get told on them. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't got nothing to do with the damn joke, and they ready to turn a motherfucker in.
Yeah, but we used to rank on each other. Do the dozens and we used to call it ranking. Yeah, you know how many you better be strong in that and be able to laugh at yourself. People call me all kind of names. I had a big head when I was a kid, just like I do now. There, I said, yeah, okay, you gonna call me big. I already know that, but it made me good. You should have heard me when I was about 8, 9 years old. I was rougher. I'm a little more humane now. I went in, it's like, don't get him started. Don't get him started.
But yeah, but that's how sense of humor was developed.
But it was all
you
love.
Know what I'm saying? You know?
It was love.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might be shy and they come, you going to your family reunion, you ain't never met these cousins before, and you get up in there, you always got them cousins to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, you learn how to talk shit. And you develop a sense of humor. you gotta keep up with them, you know?
Let me tell you something. When I worked in jails and prisons, that was my weapon, humor. So when I walked in there and when I left out, nobody wanted to fight. Nobody would do nothing on my shift. Look, the 30 minutes before they had to go on lockdown in these cells, I'd come in there and stand up like a daggone Arsenio Hall on stage, and they in their door and they calling me up kind of names, and we got dirty too. Like, oh, yo, SCURV, man. Yeah, I said, I ain't gonna get mad at you. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're gonna have some fun up in here. So when I worked overtime in different areas, I got standing ovations. Yo, SCURV's gonna work. Oh man, SCURV. Well, there's gonna be no trouble up in there. Because see, I did my job. They're gonna respect me, but we're gonna have some damn fun. I got a lot of stories to tell y'all. It was like bedtime stories the whole shift. You come back tomorrow? Yeah, oh man, I can't wait. If I called out, man, they mad.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new breed now. They sensitive and man, they flabby. Remember how tight we used to be when we was their age? They I love these little dough boys.
Yeah. Yo, what's up with these young men that got titties, man? These little niggas with hips and titties and C cups. And you know they gotta have double D's. They got C cups at 17. You know they got double D's at 35. And like I told this dude online that I know him, right? I know him face to face. He was on there lurking and trying to hate. I said, listen, I called him out. I said, I know I can never get along with you. And he typed in there, why? I said, I never got along with a man that had titties. I never got along with a man that had titties. Because y'all know what I look like back in the day. And I ain't riding on past glory, but I ain't been in the gym since April of 1985, and I look better than some of these dudes that are working out. I'm not saying like muscular, but I'm almost 60 years old. They've been doing that. So now when I take 2 or 3 years and come back and do something, what y'all gonna say? Because I know what to do. Lame generation. And I mean everybody, but the majority, passive and lame. Young men and I'm going to college. But nigga, you got titties, man. What you gonna do about that?
Brother,
it's a state of mind.
One of my friends back this past April, it was for his birthday. He got a party bus, so we was going around to different clubs, and we ended up at a strip club. When I say these girls was every bit of 21, 23 on average. No. I don't think I seen anybody in there older than 24. Their bodies were so doughy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Like if you put your finger in there to leave a mark.
Yeah, and turn red or purple a little bit. Stay there.
Yeah. And it was all these little hybrids, these little mixed girls, you know what I'm saying? And the tightest bodies in there was the brown, the chocolate. And they wasn't getting the same attention. That's a shame. And it's like me and my cousin, we were only females in there outside of strippers and some lesbian chicks, and the men they was trying to get with us. And then the girls, they were trying to get our attention. It was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, it's no way in hell that you can climb all the way up on that pole and be as flabby as you is.
For real.
I'm trying to understand that. But it's a different. They different. They everything different about them. I don't know, and I don't mean that like in a improved way. They just everything is watered down, and they don't know no better. They think they the shit.
They just
really
don't know. They just don't know.
They just don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, a lot of those chicks up in there, you can see the self-esteem. They low self-esteem. A lot of low self-esteem. You know, they running around there with them damn Crown Royal bags full of money, though. You know, and so, excuse me, and so, you know, but evidently that's not enough because their self-esteem was just, I mean, it was all over their sleeve. And even, it was a real nice looking chick up in there. You know, she was tall, you know, and you can even see the low self-esteem in her. I'm like, matter of fact, I hung out with this African dude at this strip club in New York years ago. And I think about how, you know, it was a lot of Latina chicks up in there on the stage, and how they was just bodying those black women on that stage, and the black women had natural, beautiful bodies.
Right.
But it was like they was their self-esteem was just so low, and I'm like, what? Is this what they doing in New York?
Oh yeah. It got worse. Let me tell you something. You know. Let me tell you something. Back in 96, 97, there was a young lady across the street from me that was a stripper. And she was a couple of years younger than me. And she had to get up to Jersey real quick. And I used to hustle after work with a dollar van and drive a van. But my van was hooked up. You know what I mean? It had the rims and the neon lights and double tint on it and Candyman in the front. And Sir Lance in the back, you know what I mean? And everybody wanted to ride with me, right? So on the side note, I would go to the supermarket, go shopping. Everybody knew me. Oh, can you take me home? I always had money in my pocket. So anyway, she saw me and she was like, yo, Lance, I really need to get to Jersey quick. Now, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're free, please, I will pay you to take me out to Jersey, because she had to go strip out there. Excuse me, and she ended up out there late. So I said, I got you. So what happened was, when I got out there, she's like, yo, can you wait for me? I'm like, I got you. So, I mean, I wasn't I'd go into different clubs with friends, but I wasn't no rowdy dude. But so I'm up in there waiting for him. The dude's thinking I'm somebody's pimp. I'm like, nah, I'm not nobody's pimp. The other girls that were in there that knew her, because, you know, traveling the circuit, they all know each other. So they were like, yo, that dude got a van. You know him real good. You can trust him. She's like, I grew up with him. I know him real good. You know, so you think he can take us home? He said, let me ask him, but I'm quite sure he will. So when I took him home, because a lot of the cab drivers were like, that they would take these girls home. They show up the next day because they saw what they did, trying to get some, whatever. So no, I took them home, and they knew they can trust me. So they started doing trips going all the way around, and, you know, going to different states, and we pile up in the van. It's a 7-passenger van. And for a period of 2 years, that's not the only thing I did, but, you know, every third week or once a month at least, I'd have a trip out of state. They paid me up front half. They gave me the other half after. And I got the gas was paid, the food was paid, the hotel was taken care of. I was like, yo, this is a good deal. You know what I mean? So I would always go around with them, but I got a chance to see that world. And even then, when it was much better, you know, because you had the magazines that some of them were featured in, then you had the dudes that got out of prison that were, you know, kind of manipulating themselves to the magazine. So it was like they were superstars. It was a different feel to it then. It was more of a camaraderie, and the bodies were better. Right. Now you got these, you know, these chicks running up in there, man, looking like, I'm like, what happened to her? Why is she up there? And like you said, they don't pay the black ones with the nicer bodies, the natural beauty and everything. They running after them run down other things up there. Like it's gold. Giving them money.
Right. The ones that they told is beautiful.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that a lot when I was in the New York area. Even being on the subway, how a lot of sisters would bow down to them Hispanic chicks. It was funny to me.
Yeah, but it wasn't always like that. But it's like that now. It's a whole different energy. I'm like, what happened to this place? Yeah. That's why at the beginning when I said, you know, all New York from back in the day ain't like it is today. It's a whole different energy. Now, some of the real ones are still there, but they don't dominate no more, because what dominates is this weak thing now. I don't know what it is now. They're looking all defeated and no righteous aggression.
Hey, it's called Instagram. Instagram have destroyed some souls. Okay,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Instagram have destroyed some women, some females. They have been destroyed. You know, I mean, you have people who literally go on there and they be in a state of depression when they done looking at everybody's photo on Instagram. Looking at these people live this fake life, this illusion that really is not real, but people think it's real. It's just, I'm like, you know, and then, you know, when you go somewhere to a club or something, and everybody, you know, taking pictures of themselves and sucking their cheeks in and all that stupid shit, like
putting their booty to the side so the waistline could look small.
Yes.
One booty. Yeah. And when they're home, one booty cheek up on the sink, right? And you see the room all dirty in the background. So you tell on yourself.
And no shame.
No shame.
No shame. They be having all kind of shit going on. The blinds be a mess. Just be like, wow. Like, and keep them in. I mean, maybe not alone, but it all depends, though. You know, everybody's story not the same. Some females, they like that. They keep them in. You know?
But that's low standard.
You know, and then you got other ones. Yeah, you know, and it be the most pretty girls on these TikToks and Instagram, and they be talking about how they can't get a man to take them out on a date. I'm like, well, I thought that's like a prerequisite. Like, it's just I can't even recall meeting a man that didn't take me out on a date.
Right.
Like what?
That's standard like a daggone background check on a federal job. What are they talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, we can go on and on about how watered down this experience has become. You know, we can. You know what I'm saying? With the food, you know what I'm saying? You know, when you go places and people ain't throwing down, they tell you, oh, I make such and such. I can make some good peach cobbler. By whose standards?
Right.
You know,
right.
People don't talk about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Bullshit. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, either it's there or it's not. Ain't no beauty in being in a hot eye and nothing. You know, but if a motherfucker thinks certain things is good, it ain't good, that means they ain't had the real deal. They have been tricked. You know, but everything is just watered down. You know, these little ugly ass shoes these basketball players be wearing on the damn court. Oh, it's like everything crappy.
No quality.
Right. I'm like, I remember tennis shoes, fly tennis shoes was everywhere. They be wearing the ugliest shoes they can find on them damn basketball courts. It's just like everything about y'all is just whack.
Right. And they think you hating on them because they're younger and they don't know no better.
Right. Come on now. You know, but
and women back in the day,
you know, for those
no, I'm saying women back in the day, they didn't have to do these things to their butts and everything was what it was. Everything was real.
Didn't have to do too much of nothing, but just, you know what I'm saying? She didn't have to do too much of anything, but just be a woman.
Right. And the soul of a woman, not just the body parts. These are dead corpses these days. You know, you're laying up with these women that are of this era. It's like necrophilia, like you're having sex with a corpse. You used to hold a woman's hand, and it had more electricity in it back then. Love songs and romance and all this stuff.
Yep, because they ain't healed. They ain't dealt with all the violation or the lack of attention or whatever that caused them not to be in tune with themselves on that level. You know, and you know, men don't know no better because shit, they so used to their mamas was like that shit.
Fruit don't fall too far from the tree. That's right.
I was just saying, right? That's why they chose her in the first place. You know, so it's just like,
and it's so obvious.
Just everything just so obvious. so obvious, you know. And then you get with these men, grown ass, old ass men, and their comprehension level just be.
Yeah, you get to a certain age,
like,
you're supposed to have some kind of really dope, interesting conversation. You shouldn't have to wait to get to a certain age. But at least when you get to that age,
I ain't gonna put this person's name out there. But if he listening, he gonna know it's him. But I used to have conversations with this brother, right? And he used to get mad at me about my vernacular. He used to literally say stuff to me like, "Don't be using them big words."
What? Oh my God.
Yes. Like I used to be floored because this is a person that reads, you know, and so I wasn't floored that they didn't know the word, but their response behind, I guess, the challenge of someone saying a word they've never heard of, you know what I'm saying? So instead of
that's an opportunity.
Saying, well, what does that mean?
And nigga better go buy a dictionary and make good friends with it and learn and make himself better. Because even I run across words as much as I look up new words. It should always be a process. Get mad.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Should have paid attention.
You know, and I mean, I don't want to sit here and complain about anything. But the thing about it is, I know better. You know, I've been in love. You know, I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up with you know, grandmothers and all that type of stuff, and sitting in the kitchen with them. I know what good food is. I know how to prepare it, and you know, all that good stuff. I know what it's like to be around men, masculine men. You know, like when you know, I know what a good homemade cake tastes like. You know, so I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I know what it's like being around, you know, a bunch of family and people not at each other's throats.
Exactly.
You know,
and the food's so good, you sit at the table for 45 minutes after, burping and laughing.
Right. Look, do you have people who have holiday get-togethers and everybody in a separate room eating? What kind of bull is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're right.
What is going on? I've seen
here?
That. Yeah. You know, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I've experienced enough to know that it's literally a better way of doing things. But somehow someone has, I don't know if I guess this has always been the plan at the end of the day. Is to reel us in and then hit us with the whammy, you know. Because you think about music from back in the day, how, you know, remember duets? There's a such thing as duets. Shit, you can barely find a duet these days. You can barely find a duet these days. I can't even remember the last time I actually heard a new duet.
Well, the ones we're going to hear now are two men singing. That's going to be the new duet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Well, they'll have those songs. They'll have those songs where it's 2 and 3 men, and, you know, they get together and sing. They'll have that. And I ain't talking about them straight ones.
You know, and then they come with that whammy when they hit us with that damn hip hop. That damn late 90s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? When Tupac came out and Biggie came out, shit, that's when, you know, I know really before that, I would say NWA. When NWA came on the scene, popping off, you know, talking about, you know, when they went from, you know, New York scene, they was talking more Black Power. They was talking about their gear, but you know what I'm saying? That's New York, you know?
It was fun, though. It was fun, educational. Public Enemy, they had to get rid of them.
Man, they came through and got rid of the whole everybody. I mean, just all the dancing we used to do, and you know, like we used to just have a good time. You know, we know what it's like to have a block party and ain't nobody getting shot.
Exactly. That was the last thing on your mind.
Yeah. You know, we would have various competitions at different parks and wasn't nobody into it. You know, so it's just like, I remember when the whole crack scene came in, you know, to our neighborhood. Yeah, I remember being 13 and waking up and going out to the bus stop and seeing a dead body. You know, that's when everything is like literally. When I had that experience, literally things just start. You know, I started losing friends and people I knew from the neighborhood, and just like clockwork. You know.
That's why I feel older than what I really am. A whole generation was removed. I was speaking to a woman not too long ago in America. I know her, and she's about 80-something years old. I told her, I said, you probably got more friends from high school and in your 20s than I do. Some real serious ones growing up because of that time with the crack era that came around. And she said, oh, no, baby. Some of those that were my age, they were smoking crack too. I was like, oh, man, that's rough. Yeah, my brother's the biggest one there. Intelligent, charismatic, college educated. Like I said, he's good. He can get on here now and convince you I'm the crackhead. He's good. You feel your hand?
I was just watching something that somebody saying that they didn't even know people still did crack. I watched this woman on you know, them shorts. You know, them shorts they be having.
Yeah.
And they had a sister. She was coming out of a bodega, and she was high as hell. And they was fucking with her, and they was saying something about somebody was gonna jump her or whatever. So she was dance fighting. It was funny.
Oh my God.
Didn't want to laugh but she was doing some shit. Do you hear me? And every now and then she'd throw a punch. Lord.
Brain burnout. Come on, and still creative.
But yeah, it's been so much to change. So many different people, you know, family members have lost their lives to that, and so many, you know, born because of it and had issues and still got issues, still walking around here, mind messed up. I mean, I got a cousin. This cousin of mine, he's drop dead gorgeous. He has the perfect body, his physique. You know, he got a baseball physique. He got a nice height to him, not too tall, and he just has like a baseball, and crazy as all get out. Mama was a crackhead, you know. So there's so many things just to change, and really hip hop led the way. Hip hop led the way.
That's what they had to destroy it.
That materialism. Yeah, that materialism.
Oh, I'm talking about the old hip hop.
They started talking about
the current stuff. Yeah, they hijacked it.
Oh man, this current stuff is trash. It's so trashy that don't nobody even care that these niggas is getting killed.
Yeah, right. you find out about them after they shot. Like, I didn't know that guy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody even making no big deal. You know? And then on top of that, it's so many of them in the industry. Like, you know, it used to be only so many well-known rappers, but I guess because of this whole social media and your ability to have your own studio and produce on your, it'd be so many artists. I don't even be knowing all of them. I'm like, damn, I ain't never heard of this guy.
And see, their followers are like even smaller. Yeah. And the names always start out with Lil Run.
Yeah.
Lil Durk. Lil this, Lil that.
Right.
Lil.
Yeah, look, right. Right. That's a segue into nobody. They went from Biggie to Little, didn't they? Lord, you know. But you know, even in my city, you know, the jail. I really believe that they have some type of squad of people, you know, that are sent agents to send and kill various young people who are making impacts in their community because it happens too much. Well-known various rappers, and they might have a clothing label, and they got something going for themselves. And next thing you know, they done got killed.
Wow, that's so true.
It happens too much. Just too much, and then these niggas be on Facebook bragging about it, and they act like they don't know who the hell did it. You know, you be hearing about niggas be having all kind of bodies on them. bragging on Facebook.
Yep.
Ain't been arrested one time.
The government paid.
Yeah, like what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? These white folks is messy. They messy. They always up to something, doing something, and
I mean,
they get on my damn nerves. That's all I can say. And when they be trying to present them on YouTube and like they wholesome or they hip, and they always want to. They always showing me interracial couples.
Oh God!
Always.
Can't find a commercial
They
without
love
it.
showing me. Look, no, I ain't talking about. They be showing me black women with white men.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
Subliminals.
Constantly, and I'm just like, what is this need for? What is going on here? You know, and again, we just keep going for the okie doke, though. You know, I get so tired of listening to black men dog and degrade black women, and black women dog and degrade. Look, I'm not gonna be on no platform time and time again just dogging a black man shit. I mean, he got issues, no doubt.
For real. I
love that nigga.
We gotta heal each other. That's right. That's right. You love him even when his breath stank. You just love him, right?
Yes, because ain't nothing like him. Ain't nothing like him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing like the black man, man. He just, I don't know. It's just, we just got that type of essence. It's just a certain energy that we exude that even in our madness, I can still see it. You know what I'm saying? It's not as radiant as it used to be, but I know that it's still there.
We got that energy.
You know, and so yeah, you know, but you got a lot of men now. They don't want to step up to the plate. You know, they so used to women coming on to them. They, even if they have an interest in you, their ego won't allow them to find the words to just say something to you to get a conversation going. They're always waiting for you. They want to play the woman. They want to play the woman, you know what I'm saying? And that's already a bad sign. That you gonna want me to play the woman constantly. I mean, play the man constantly. You play the woman constantly, you know, and I'm good. You know, so, and everybody's so distrusting of each other too. That's a whole other thing. So distrusting of each other. And, it's like we're literally living in some type of jungle or, you know, predator and prey mindset.
Yeah, things looking at you from up in the
like
tree.
Everywhere.
Things looking at you from up in the tree. You don't even look up. All this stuff over you. It's just the jungle. You're right.
You'll be looking at the monkeys.
No, but isn't that something? It's an analogy I always said. I said, you know, people are so delusional. It's like they don't think anything is against them. I'm not trying to make people feel paranoid, but walk through the woods in the daytime. Walk through the woods in the daytime. Just as peaceful. Do you know how many eyes are looking at you when you walk through the woods in the daytime, but you wouldn't dare go in there at night? What kind of sound is that? I'm not going in there. They stay there, nocturnal, chilling out up in the trees. Look at your ass. All around you. Like, yeah, let them come back later on. I'm going to bite them thighs. For real.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what it's like, really just walking around a town or a city at this point. Everybody's so, your customer service sucks. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you one thing.
Every now and then you go ahead.
Don't come to Ghana.
I was gonna say every now and then you find a gym.
Don't come to Ghana. There's no word to
like
describe.
Florida, California. When you go ahead.
When you go to a restaurant and there's 5 waiters and waitresses up there by the counter looking on their phones. And you sit down, you looking at them, they look back at you and put their head back down on the phone. 10 minutes later, you call one if you lasted that long.
You gotta pull that money out, bro.
No, but see, they don't care because they ain't getting none of it. The person that owns the restaurant pays them so cheap that he don't even get mad when they don't do no work. That's the way it is. And so by the time they come over to you, Then you got to wait like about 40 minutes to get your food.
That's horrible.
Yeah, yeah. And then half the stuff they advertise, if it's like a local restaurant or whatever, they advertise all kind of stuff. And you ask, do you have this? No, we don't have that. We don't have this. What the hell do y'all have? Then if you tell them, like with me, I say, listen, I don't eat nothing hot, like real hot, spicy, hot. No, and you tell them, and they talk in English, and they bring it back extra hot, looking at you like something's wrong with you. And you tell them, oh, listen, I told you not to, you know what I mean? Oh, I didn't, don't, please get out of here. And the other ones are laughing. I can tell you a whole lot. I love it here, but I can tell you a whole lot.
Well, I know that they're trying to create an atmosphere that people become so disgusted with dealing with each other that they can go ahead and bring in the whole robotic type of, situation where you don't have to deal with people at all. Because that's one reason why people, are quitting their jobs. They don't want to go to work because they don't want to deal with the rudeness out here. But then there's something that's going to need to man these various businesses. If not everything being online, so like, like an Amazon, that's right up their alley, but
wow.
I enjoy human interaction.
Oh man, just like you said earlier, yeah, no, I want to say this real quick. Huh? On my site, I have like a news ticker scrolling across. Philadelphia rapper P&B Rock fatally shot at 30. You are right.
Yeah.
You're right. P&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, brother? They really
in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles.
In LA.
Yeah.
In LA. Okay, right. Yeah. Okay.
He's from Philly.
I was gonna say,
right.
They need to be. Someone needs to be held. They need to be boycotting LA. Someone is out there doing that shit purposely. People need to be boycotting LA. Because we're losing too many black men. Yeah. That's why. Oh, trust me, they've learned how to use everything. Everything. I heard them say that they put on the space shuttles and stuff. They be putting our melanin to coat it so it can deal with the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That's actual melanin, and they getting that shit from somewhere. I mean, this black man's body is just piled up. And we just keep going for the okie doke. We just keep going for it.
It's expensive too.
What we gonna do?
Yeah, I know. But these people don't want to see it. They're too busy TikToking.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking.
I don't know, brother. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't trying to be no extremist out here, seeing, for a thrill, trying to find some crazy being risque just so I can feel again. But damn. But damn.
It's coming
shit.
to that.
Like, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. All I can do is try to put my hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Was that you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I heard somebody say something.
No, I ain't say nothing. Them agents better cover their mics.
Huh. was some strange shit. That was strange.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
But all I can do is drive fast, brother. Mm-hmm. That's the only thrill I can get right now. Drive fast, maybe.
You got a fast car.
A hardcore workout.
Mm-hmm. Tracy Chapman with it. Gets. Yeah, you got a fast car. Me and you'll be on a podcast with our face looking sad. We got a pass. We got a podcast. We talk about how good the old days were. Today's days ain't shit. We laugh with our bellies in the LOL. What the hell happened to the kids all day on Instagram buying fake behinds and electrical tape eyelashes? Dun, 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 dun.
Are you making this up?
Say it again.
I said, are you making this up?
Yeah. I'm always like that. I always been that way. And talking about the guys. I
need to have my sister Denise on here with you, because she'll go, y'all boy. She knows she can make up some shit.
Then you got Tracy Chapman singing about the young men now. They got a D cup bra with orange fingers from the cheese doodles, the Chinese food with the MSG. What the hell has happened? When you see these young dudes walking down the street, you got to turn around in your car because you think it's a girl with a nice ass, but it don't matter because they want it fucked. Dun, 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 dun. I'm stupid like that. I'm aggressively funny because what happened? I'm gonna get you too back.
That's all they want.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody want to take everything from the black woman and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for real.
I'll look at
That's why them gay white men love to hang around them and try to talk. Girls, so get out of here with your funky pink dick.
Right. And our sisters keep just giving shit away.
Mm-hmm. Letting them come and hang around and whatnot.
Giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We have been led to believe that we shouldn't, we shouldn't stand, I don't know how to put it, at our gates, or we shouldn't, I remember when Usain Bolt was dating that white woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He was dating some European chick, man. And them sisters gave him the blues in the islands, okay?
Mm.
The blues. And so, but we don't have, they try to make it seem like when sisters do have a problem with black men, dating a white woman, they want to make that sister look like she's such a bad person for feeling that way. No, because see, we should all be on that level.
That's right. Because
they not doing nothing. Yeah, because that's a strategic move. That's not a matter of just like, man, that impacts the whole fucking world.
Right. Your phone is breaking up a little bit.
Individual move.
Your phone is breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, you heard this too, brother.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm quite sure it's going to come out all right because they did that to us before. Yeah, but keep talking.
But that's a strategic move. That's not an individual thing. That's something set. It's designed. It's an agenda.
Of course.
And so many of our brothers keep going for that stuff. They started first with that whole light skin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sneak it on. Yellow bone, red bone stuff. Like, damn, how do you just totally disregard?
I know.
A whole group of women.
I know.
I mean, you just like, damn, that's some cold shit. That is some cold shit. You want to put us out there, in some fashion, like we ain't about shit. I'm trying to understand that. Like, when we everything. Hell, if it wasn't for us, it's a whole lot of shit that wouldn't even exist. Like basketball.
But they watch us walking down the street the same way when they were.
Because that's the production.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I'm saying white folks watch us walk down the street just as smooth, fascinated, just the same way when they're in Madison Square Garden watching the Harlem.
You really fade in and out.
Oh man. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with it. Because I got everything set right. But usually when this happens, it's like when you play it back, everything's good. It's weird. So we'll keep going.
Well, I I can hear you a little bit better now, but before you sounded like, been abducted.
We good.
But, what are you saying?
No, I was saying white folks watch us naturally walk down the street, and they're fascinated with us just the same way when they're in Madison Square Garden watching the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. They are. It's like we are an exhibit to them. We are, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you don't fit a certain description. It's not you don't give that typical nigga vibe off. They really be like, well, what is this? I don't see this too often. This is so good. But it's past my bedtime.
Yeah, thank you so much for the energy and the thought and what you brought today, or tonight rather. And I'm just pleased that we can keep going on because we have everything set up independently in the same way. Whenever you want to throw down, let's throw down. Now you sent 2 messages today, and that second one had some stuff I need to put up. The first one too, but I don't know which one if anything, I'll cut some of the personal stuff out. But tomorrow, you said some phenomenal things. As always, like I said.
Thank you.
As always.
Thank you. I want to thank you as well. You already know how I feel. I was a little shooken yesterday. You had me shook a little bit.
What happened?
When I was trying to reach you, and I couldn't.
Oh, right. No, right. I'm good. I got all kind of automatic things that's going to fly out there if something go down. All I got to do is push a button. It's like, wait a second.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, we good.
I was concerned.
Yes, no, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And that's why I got to keep in contact every day, frequently and stuff like that. And it was a little busy yesterday for me, so.
Text or whatever, I understand you busy, you got things to do, but
we're in this together. We're in this together. Even though you're way over there, we're in this together, and we have to look out for each other, and that's the thing. Definitely. And I'll make more of an effort. But thank you so much.
So we can definitely link up. I don't know, maybe not tomorrow, the day after. We don't want to bore the people.
Wait a second. Could you even move your mouth to say that? Do you see these comments? Bore them. They can't get enough.
No, I don't. I don't. I don't because
What?
I don't see them. I can't see them.
Are black people tired of chicken? Are black people tired of watermelon? Are black people tired of sex? They ain't tired of you. They can't get enough. They'll be bugging me. Yo, look in your phone and see if because they know sometimes you send me stuff. They're like, yo, look in your phone and if you see anything by her that you missed out on, and don't be missing.
So brother, so you're not on YouTube right now.
Right now,
you're on your website.
On the website, and there's a platform that I pay for that works just like YouTube. And even when I'm on YouTube, I'm broadcasting live on this also, and I put uploads on this platform. So if YouTube took away everything, I have every video and they can't touch me. See? And it's on my website.
But I can go on and I can actually see the comments.
Yeah, you can come onto the website and look at the show. As soon as it's over, it's gonna be on there right now. And every show that we've ever done, if you go on the website, it's not on YouTube, it's on the actual website and on that platform in the form of a post. You scroll down and you see show more. I have a slider right there, and I do have a page on the site that does show YouTube videos, all of them. I'm like 100 short from having 5,000 videos, and you can see those, except if they remove it like the one they did today. But the one they removed is right there on YouTube. If you want to see it again, but it's not on YouTube, but it's on my site. So they can't, they really can't touch me. It's just an inconvenience to get on YouTube for the week and nobody will see me, but they know, at least they should know, that they can come to LANCESCURV.com. Because the bottom line is, I tell them all the time, if I get knocked off, come to the website. Everything that we do is there. Yeah, that's right.
That's horrible. I don't even, it made no sense. You know, their reasoning, it made no sense. Because you got people who are saying, wait, what's that?
Your phone, yeah, not just came back. Yeah, but it's totally independent, and they know they can't really hurt it because it's just the folks got to get used to coming onto the website. So I'm going to start probably when I'm allowed to come back to YouTube, is do a lot of promotional stuff and have all the shows on the site, make them come to the site, because the site is where they're going to have to be if something goes down. And on the site, we can say what we want to say. We don't have to. I mean, we can say anything and everything. Look, you look around, you see all kinds of things. They ain't censoring nothing. So I'm gonna make some things a little more hardcore, so they're gonna feel, oh man, I'm gonna miss it. Yeah.
People should be supporting your channel anyway. I mean, yours is something that's like specifically yours. We should be supporting that anyway. Like,
well, you know,
definitely should be supporting.
And I appreciate that from the people, but most of them ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do it. And I'm not out here money grubbing either. I'm not out here, oh, hit the PayPal, oh, hit the Cash App. And I'm not saying anybody who needs help is money grubbing, but me, I'm not rich, but there's things I need. There's things I gotta maintain. But I pay for most of my stuff that I've been. Say it again?
It's funny to me how people, what's funny to me is people, you know, we just live in an upside down world. You know, people want to give to those really aren't worthy, and those who are worthy, they don't want to give to.
Right.
You know, I know that it's in just your life. You know, people are just funny like that. You know, they'll just like people, they give more. People give free shit to rich people, but then they'll give it to somebody that need it. You know, so it's just a strange time. Everything is just. It seems like if you can go into a relationship if you really want a man to do everything that you want him to do, go in there, don't talk too much, and ignore his ass.
Right.
He'll love you up.
That's right. You're right.
I mean, yeah, because I've met a guy, you know, after talking to him for so long. He lived in another state. And so I went to go visit him, you know, and when I got out there, I really didn't care for his lifestyle. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew that we wouldn't get anywhere. So as a result, you know, I had planned on being there for like a week. And so as a result, I really wasn't communicating with him that much. Man, and this man, I had mentioned something about a Jeep. This nigga went out and bought a Jeep.
Wow.
Right there. Yeah. Wow. All because I was ignoring him, and because I wanted him to get the picture that, you know, when I leave here, you know, there ain't no need for you to be calling me or nothing. Right. We're not on the same page, you know, but he was just at my beck and call.
Wow.
But if I would have went out there and adored him and cooked for him and, you know, did all this stuff, oh Lord, he would have treated me like trash. Dogged you out. What do you call that? What do you call that phase of the narcissistic phase when they
the honeymoon
pull you in? What do you call that phase? It's not called honeymoon. It's called something else.
Love bombing.
The love bombing. Love bombing. You know what I'm saying? You got tons of people. They'll do that, and then, you know, once they find out that you're a loving, caring, giving, and realize that you have that empathy in you. Yep.
That's a wrap.
Here they come on their bullshit. You got family members that do the same shit.
Binge purge.
You know.
Dependent. They give you a little.
Yeah, we live in a strange time.
See that?
We live in a strange time.
Oh, you're right. I agree.
Yeah.
Strange things that happen.
They uphold shit that ain't even worth upholding, and they want to downplay something that's worthy. It's weird. It's weird. So, but It's some strange ish.
To the point when
all
you
I can
see
say.
when you see some
Strange
good
ish.
authentic stuff, you don't trust it. It's like this could be a trick.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even though that you can be all up on it and see for yourself, but it really boils down to people don't know how to love and don't know how to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really boils down to. You know, when they get that love, they're so used to abuse that it's almost like they have some type of allergic reaction to you.
Right.
You know,
The normal things
So,
are like
know.
viruses now to them.
Mhm.